What's up, guys? D2 from D2AOV.com. And no, that thumbnail is not a clickbait, it's the truth. Florentino has been buffed. Well, reworked, but I would consider it a buff overall, but we'll get to that in a moment. So how did this happen? Well, it wasn't in the Taiwan patch notes because Florentino is not out in Taiwan, and the development team or the community team or what have you, apparently something got lost in translation, and he wasn't in Tencent's notes either. But Florentino has been changed, did some digging, found that he was changed in the Vietnamese patch notes, so I took a look at that, clarified stuff within the game, and this is what you have. So let's start off. First, on his passive, for lunge, the slow from lunge was removed, and if you guys don't remember, that was a 75% slow, but it was for 0.5 seconds. It was very, very short, which means it wasn't that big of a deal. So removing that it doesn't hurt the most. Now let's go to his second ability, which had its damage reduced by 25 in the early game, and then that starts to ramp up to 75 in the late game. So overall 75 damage reduction, but in return you have a movement or a slow on the opponent by 50% for 1 second, which 50% for 1 second is better definitely than 75% for 0.5 seconds because they're sold for longer, and it really hurts to have your speed slow for that long. And the second attack, nothing changed other than the fact that the damage numbers were reduced by the same amount as the first attack. And then the third attack, the same thing happened. So 50 at the end, 25 at the beginning, 50 at the end, but that's doubled to 100. So 75 at the end of the game, 75 damage off the first attack, 75 damage off the second attack, and 100 damage off the third attack, because you can't hit the every time you hit your third attack, it goes off twice. You can't hit the third attack and not get the second part of the third attack, if that makes sense to you guys. So bit of damage lost, but it's not the biggest deal in the world because the true damage was a lot of what made him really, really good. Obviously, this will make him a little bit worse in the duel, especially in the early game when you're trying to kill someone, but it's not the hugest deal. And you'll still be just as good if it's a tank killer. In fact, even better, considering it's going to be easier to pull off his combo, and we'll get to that now. So his ultimate, Gentleman's Duel, it was raised in cooldown by 5 seconds, and in exchange, instead of dealing 20% more damage, which was kind of weird because in order to use your ultimate, you had to get up and close and personal to them, and it made it harder to use your combo in the first place. So the timing of the ultimate was very, very tricky. And so it was sometimes you just mess up your combo just by using your ult, trying to incorporate your ult into the combo. But now you don't even need to try to incorporate your combo because the ult starts the combo for you. So instead of dealing more damage, three flowers are tossed around the target, and on top of that, the recovery effect of lunge is doubled. So if you pop your ult and you're like low on health, you can really just go back up. It makes it so much easier. It really turns into a duel because you make it so good for you in those fights, having that's double of the healing, which it's really nice. I'll show you guys in a second. And the ability width, not the length, the width is increased by 40 units, or sorry, increased by 150 units from 250 to 400. And that's kind of weird. I don't know if people were missing the ult. It's not that hard to miss, but now it's basically impossible to miss. And I'll show you guys that right now. So we are in training here, and just right off the bat, let me just show you how fat that ult. Look how fat that indicator is. Like, it's like basically impossible to miss. And oh my god, that's extremely loud. Sorry about that. Let's just turn it off, screw it. Let's just turn it all the way off because that's really, really loud. Alright, so like I mentioned, it's massive, and like you saw, if you hit him, 3 flowers spawn. Now, what I didn't know, because before when you use ult, you would do something like this. You'd like kind of get in there, use your 2, use your ult, and then be on your merry way, right? Because you really didn't want to use your ult and jump away from him, because if you jumped away from him, then it would make it harder to hit your triple threat or your lunge or what have you. But I didn't realize this, but you can actually shuffle off of your ult. You can basically shuffle off of everything, it turns out, except for, it appears, your Blossom. But watch, you can shuffle off your ult, and that's a really big deal. So what you want to do when you use your ult, you want to shuffle straight to one of the flowers. And based on your positioning, you should know where they're all going to be, because they're going to be 120 degrees in one direction or the other, whether you go left or right. So you can go either way. And so look, I know exactly where they're going to go. And this is really nice because if you can start a combo like this. You can lunge in triple threat, and then you can use your ult and then start your combo without even using Blossom, and then continue from there and just like wreak havoc and basically nearly kill Thame in a couple of combos there. It is absolutely nuts, and it makes dueling with him so much easier because you don't even have to hit your Blossom anymore. All you have to do is go in, use your 2, use your ult. You're never going to miss your ult, and then go straight into the lunge. Go straight into the shuffle into your flower. So this is a really important key. For those of you trying to play Florentino going forward, this is going to be extremely important. You want to ult straight to a flower. Because if you don't ult to a flower, what happens is you're stuck here, right? And if you don't have your lunge, like for instance, if you go in with your lunge and then go like that, triple threat out, and you ult back in, you don't have a lunge right now. So now you have to like take your precious time and go to a flower manually. So it's really important to hit that first flower. But other than that, it makes it so much easier to play Florentino. This is like the easiest comboing I've done in my entire life. I'm chunking Thane with, 3/5 of a build here, and he has a full build. This is absolutely nuts. It makes everything easier for Florentino. It makes it easier for lesser skilled players. Even super skilled players, there's so many more opportunities open up for him. I've heard people say they don't like the changes. Those people who have heard about the changes, they don't really like him. I personally do like it because, honestly, as much as I've shown you guys these guides, and as much as I've studied Florentino, he's one of the more frustrating heroes to play. If you mess up his combos, you basically just die. And I love the extra flexibility with him. I love that you're able to do more stuff with him now. I love the extra combos that you can do. And it just makes him much more fun hero to play and much less frustrating. So I do like these changes. I do think it's a buff, even though he got his damage reduced. And I think it's going to be great for him. He's going to be played a lot more. The only problem is the fact that he's a little bit easier to play now. In fact, maybe a lot easier to play. This might lead to some nerfs down the road because this might make him too good for a lot of players. And that might be problematic. Last thing I'll mention is because of the lack of slow on his lunge now, I think that Frostcape might be really good on him. Although that said, Omni Arms will be really good as well. Actually, I didn't show you guys this, but let me just show you guys the healing. The healing is massive. So here is a normal combo, just chilling, going in, nice little 400 healing. It's like feels good, but let's show you what happens when you use your ult. Let's just do the standard combo. Wait for my passive for a second. So go in, ult straight to the flower. Boom, boom, boom. So much healing. It's so ridiculous, guys. Florentino's going to be great. If you thought he was too hard to play, maybe you should try him now. But that is it for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Go to d2aov.com and goodbye.